the vibe right, this might not work and we might have to cut this contract. Like, that's how serious. And the way that that has protected me, my peace, the way that it has allowed me to find my customer. I literally, I had a really heavy loss last month, and because of the set of clients that I have, we're all like this. And so I try to have a meeting like a couple weeks later, and I brought it up, and they were like, so you ending this meeting, right? Like, we could talk about this another time. You go, take some time, you do what you need to do. They weren't like, well, you already late, because I'm already late on that project. You already late, and we need to da-da-da, and we already paid. It wasn't that energy, right? And that's because I have surrounded myself with clients who are like-minded, who have similar heart posture. We have a shared vision. They know that I'm not playing with them and playing with their money, and they know I'm serious. But also, I just have created an atmosphere around me of peace, of grace, and shown that and received that. So I cannot iterate enough how important it is to have self-care.
Well, for me, I'm a little opposite because, again, like I said, I still work a 9 to 5. I absolutely love my 9 to 5. It don't feel like a 9 to 5 for me. So I'm the type of person that go really hard, and I will have like a month's long of events, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going on vacation next month. Like, take me out of the country. So I kind of balance in that way, but I also only work my catering business during some nights, and then always on the weekends. But again, I pick and choose the events that I do now. I used to do every pop-up that I can just to be in the room, but all rooms aren't good rooms, and all money isn't good money. And if it's not gonna really benefit my business, I'll turn an event down very quickly. So I'm all about really right now just, again, doing what will keep me sane. Like, I'm not doing events that's gonna drive me crazy, or mess with my inner peace. So
Excellent, excellent. You mentioned a couple of words that are very important to me, and that's, well, the one word, intentional. Right now, we're streaming to my Facebook group, which I call the Intentional Wealth Project. Feel free to join. But I call it the Intentional Wealth Project is because I'm like, what am I really trying to do? And what am I trying to help other people do? And I am very intentional about my actions and what I do, who I spend time with, how I spend my time. And all this is to build wealth, and I think of it as a project. So, and that kind of helps me work through my days, work through how hard or how challenging it is. It's just it's just another project. Got to go out and, check off the list for a little bit. But when it comes to balancing that, the point of that building wealth is I'm building a business to support my life. My life is not there to support the business. So that way of thinking has helped me say, how can this support the ideal life? I get up and every morning, and my goal is to live my ideal day. And I am on track because I get up every day. I don't set an alarm clock. I still wake up at 5:30. So I get up 5:30. That's when I get up. I do my yoga. I do my meditation. I exercise. I go outside for a walk. I have time to see my son off to school. I see my husband off. And then I usually work from home. I used to work in the office, but I work from home, and I put in some days I'm like, okay, I put in a whole 8 hours. Sometimes I don't. I get and pick and choose what clients I want. The one piece that's missing, I'm still working towards, is that when we do our virtual meetings, is that people will see the beach in the background, the real beach, not my fake beach, the real beach. But right now, Michigan is home. So that's what I'm working towards, that in the next, have my ideal life and set that's my happy place. And to pick and choose my clients, and that's the having the boundaries and setting that up on my ideal day also includes the ideal client. and setting up and the boundaries. And I think you said that too, having the boundaries in place and being very firm and be unapologetic about your boundaries. No is a complete sentence. That's what I tell my clients. And I gave somebody an assignment. No, period. No explanation. You don't have to explain it. That's your boundary, and stick to it. If you can't hold yourself to boundaries, nobody else is going to do it. They will run right over you. Like they will run and steal your time, and you cannot get your time back.
I know you gotta go. One of the questions you asked was like something that we wish we knew or something like that. The people that you give discounts to are going to be the people that give you the most stress. Don't you discount your services unless it's for the MBBA, but don't you discount your services. Don't do it. That's going to be the client that's going to ask for the stars, the sun, the moon, and look at you crazy when you ain't got it done in 3 minutes. Like, do not discount. I don't care if you knew. I don't care if you've never done it before. Bet on yourself. But charge your rate. Your rate is your rate. And anyone that is, now it's, of course, I'm speaking very generally. There's circumstances and all of that. Maybe you want to barter. Maybe, you have a service and they have a service, and you do. Like, there's ways around that. But as far as your money, do not discount your service. Do not go. If somebody is asking you for that, then they're not your client. And there are people that they can go to at their price range. You don't go to the Benz dealer trying to pay hoopty prices. Like, you came here, so you must want this package, and this costs this much. So I've personally, and just from being a consultant and watching other people experience it, seen how literally it's like a formula. If somebody is asking you for a discount, they're going to give you gray hair. So I just wanted to make sure that y'all know that before y'all leave here.
So you said life and work, right? How do we balance that? Well, even as a successful entrepreneur, you can still learn from people, because you have to understand, like I said, I started with $27. So if you will allow me to come to your house at 4:30 in the morning, I'm there. I wish I was able to, get up and take an hour rest, 2 hours, let my body depress from last night. So as of recently, I'm learning how to balance that. And that's with systems. I feel like if you don't have systems in your business, you don't have a business. It's at some point it's going to run out. But especially when you're in a house with another entrepreneur, it's really like, it's kind of chaotic sometimes. She's on the go, I'm on the go a lot. So there's really no life and balance. It's just really like work. We're trying to get to it, get to the end game. But I understand how you say, you want to pick and choose who you want to work with. In the staffing industry, I don't really believe it's like that, especially working in the stadiums. My ultimate goal is to be in 30 states, 70 cities, any stadium most stadiums need cleaning. So you're going to run into racism, companies, Aramark, who's going to be the business manager of that stadium in Texas is going to be an asshole. So sometimes you have to learn how to maneuver, be in a room with how to move in a room full of vultures. That's my obstacle. So, but I'm learning though. That's a good thing that I can learn from entrepreneurs, to say, hey, pick and choose who you want to work with. Everybody is not your client. But as of right now, it's just more so we're trying to get to the end game. So I don't really have a life. It's more so work, especially like I said, I just wrote a book called The $27 Millionaire, and I don't believe I would have got to this point in 4 years, just trying to balance work and life. It was more so like, we got a job to do. I'm still working myself. I have a job. I work every Sunday right across the street. And most of the time, I'm still supervising and checking in on a lot of my accounts and my employees, because, like I said, as of recently, I'm just putting in a lot of new systems that can do that for me. But also, it's trust. You have to really be able to trust somebody and find the right person to be able to supervise this particular location for you that you trust. So, those are the two things that I'm working on right now, systems and trust.
My final question is, if you guys could pinpoint one specific moment since taking that leap into entrepreneurship, what has been your proudest moment thus far, right? Because we're all on the incline, but what's been your proudest moment as a business owner, as an entrepreneur thus far?
Well, I think my proudest moment, I just looked at the September 24th today. So September 22nd, 2 years ago, and what's crazy is my brother just walked in. I was on the #1 financial literacy show called Earn Your Leisure. I got interviewed by Troy and Richard 2 years ago, 2 days ago, actually on the 22nd of September 2022. And that just spreaded me across the whole United States. When I went to Invest Fest this past weekend, it was crazy for people to come up to me and want to take pictures and just like, bro, I need to ask you this question. I want to ask you this. And like looking at me as I was like a celebrity. I'm like, I'm Mario. I'm from the east side of Detroit. I'm Carol's son. That's what I always say. But I think that was really my proudest moment because, those guys put me on a platform where I was able to now get accounts in other states, Texas, Boston, Seattle, different things like that. And like I said, be able to go to places where now they're paying me, a nice amount of money to come speak or to come to their school. They're buying a certain amount of books to come speak to the kids at the school. So that was really like one of my biggest moments outside of my kids.
Okay. When you're an entrepreneur, you have these goals and you set the goal, and as soon as you hit it, you're like, on to the next one. And you one of the things with work-life balance is taking time to appreciate when you do have those moments. And I think of two instances that have come up in the past, I guess 60 days or so, is one with, I know I said I worked in-house counsel at a bank. So it was nice when a bank approached me to do a workshop for them jointly. So I was like, they reached out to me to work with them to do a workshop based upon the work that I'm doing now. So I felt really proud about that. That kind of told me that I'm making the right steps. I'm stepping out. Of course, we don't need Portia anymore because they asked Tanisha to show up. They didn't ask Portia. And the other proud moment is taking the time to help my family build the business. And that moment in time, about 30 days ago, where my husband stopped in the parking lot while we were walking out our office, our building. I was seeing him off. He was going off to sign to a closing, to finish the closing of another agency we had acquired. And he stopped and turned to me and said, "We did it." And I'm like, and I really looked at him. I said, "Did what? What did we do? We still working. What did we do?" He's like, "We did it. It took 10 years, but we did it. We got to a multi-million-dollar agency." And we said we were going to do, because we made a plan for 5 years. And there were obstacles. There were things that happened that kind of slowed us down, but we never slowed down. He just turned and said that we did. And I was like, "You're right. We did do it. I didn't even." So in taking a moment to recognize, even that's maybe a big thing, but even the little things, just taking time to say, "Oh, I did good today. What did I do? Oh, I made all my calls. I was supposed to call 100 people, and I did that." Give yourself a pat on the back and do that, because you're going to need every ounce of support there, because entrepreneurship is lonely. We have our tribe, or I like to call my squad, my accountability group, my squad. But at any moment in time, it's only you making the decision. And you got, journal about it, write about it, and give yourself your props that you showed up today. And if you didn't show up, that's okay. Talk to yourself, get right back up, and show up the next day and give yourself credit, because you're doing things that many people would not even dare to do?
Wow. Okay. So I'm gonna just say I'm proud to be in this moment right now. Like she said, just really appreciating the small things. My business will be 7 in December, and just looking at how far I've come. I'm just proud to be here in this moment to continue seeing my business grow, how it's growing. I'll be releasing my cookbook and re-releasing my line of seasoning blends with it this December for my business anniversary. So that is done, but it's not here yet, but it's done. So I'm very proud just being consistent and having, having my family be proud of me and really being a staple for my family. And also being able to plan to take my business to the next state. I'll be moving to California at the end of this year. So I'm just super excited with that. And I think that's just going to give me that push that I needed to now become a full-time entrepreneur and really give my all to my business, because I know what it would look like if I've really been able to really put my all into it. And just being able to move to a new state and, just kind of rebuilding from the ground up really is just one of my proudest moments right now.
Just to piggyback on while she's thinking, also is becoming an author. Being able to put all of my accomplishments and my journey from A to Z into a book. And like I said, I'm sitting on the stage with, master degrees, doctors, lawyers, and like I said, I have a high school diploma. But now an author is like one of my most, it's what I'm very proud of, honestly, outside of, like I said, being on Earning Leisure, just being able to put, all of my journey into a book and becoming an author and helping other people out. And it's not really just about my journey, it's also about helping entrepreneurs just believe in the 19 isms. Dan Gilbert has 19 isms. I know somebody in here has worked for Quicken Loans. I've never worked for Quicken Loans, but I always felt like if this billionaire is thinking this way, why can't I think like that? And that's really what got me to this point of like understanding that money and numbers don't lead, they follow. Understanding just, hey, we'll figure it out. It's like what you said, you'll figure it out. I had your food truck was just sitting in the back forever, and you'll figure it out. So, and also writing this book, I was able to meet Dan, and he was just like, this is amazing, because most people feel like his isms is brainwashing. For somebody else to be on the outside and just really, accepting them and bringing them in, he was really proud. We got to sit down and talk for a second.
So this question is difficult for me because I feel like I haven't had my proudest moment yet. I've had so many, literally every week, something like, what is happening in my life? So I resonate with a lot of the things that I've heard. I've done a lot of the things that I've heard. The two things that came to mind when I first thought of it was the first time that I fired a client. And really stood on my boundaries and was able to fire a client. And that's a weird kind of like pessimistic way of like saying what's you're most proud of. But I was very proud of that moment because I was like, wow, here I am like turning down thousands and thousands of dollars just because somebody just don't align with me and we don't vibe. And I can just see the toxicity and the peace being disturbed. And that's not what I want for my life. I think that this space that we're in, I was extremely proud. This is my first brick and mortar. I've been an entrepreneur, honestly, since I was 6. I was writing business plans. Like, I love business and infatuated with all things operations and business. So, but this was my first brick and mortar. I've always had like home-based or service-based businesses. And so when we got the keys in June, I was like, oh my goodness, I actually did it. Like, now we got to pay the rent. But anyway, but I would just say that my proudest moment probably hasn't happened yet. Because I am a social entrepreneur, though, a lot of my clients are nonprofits or at least enterprises that have some sort of community give back component to them. And the impact when I'm able to go to a client who is in distress or has a vision for something that they've never done before, and I'm able to implement that either by like helping them execute it or help them get funding for it, and just the pride, the relief, the joy that brings, and then the ability that for them to do their work better, that alone, I mean, I've helped over, I forget what the numbers on my website say, but over 2,000 organizations, businesses, entrepreneurs. I've raised millions of dollars in a short amount of time. I didn't even know about the statistics around what entrepreneurs, female and black entrepreneurs usually make their first year. And I was like, if I was making that in a year, like I understand why everybody has businesses. So those are things that I never had to worry about. And so I was proud that I had spent literally my whole life from the time I was 3 years old. I've been going to school since I was 3. Literally my whole life building my personal brand, not knowing that's what I was doing. But when I decided to take the leap of faith and start my businesses, people trusted me because they're like, Taquayan is smart. I had built the brand of being smart because I've been in school forever. Taquayan is trustworthy. Taquayan is a nice person. Taquayan is going to get it done, right? And I had been building that brick by brick my entire life. It's one of the reasons why I kind of struggle with people coming to me asking me to coach them, because I'm like, I don't know how to package what I've been building since I was 3 into a course that you could take in 6 weeks and pay me some money, and then you're going to have the results that I have. Like, I don't know how to do that yet, sorry. But I think that I'm very proud of the work that my clients are doing, and living vicariously through their impact helps keep me moving forward when it gets tough. I won't say my tribe helps me not feel lonely, but it definitely gets tough and dark. And like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? And then, of course, it always happens. But I would just say, stay tuned. I'll let y'all know when I have my proudest moment.
I want to open the floor to see if anybody else in the room had any questions for any of the entrepreneurs on the stage.
Plug for the West Side, back to the East Side, plug your butts. Your story is my story. A little bit about me. I'm an ER doctor, been in school all my life. Kind of got to the pinnacle of the ER, the medical director chair, all of the things. But I'm not happy with it right now. So I've got so many people saying, why don't you be happy? Make your own schedule, you travel. You don't have kids, none of that matters. Have a husband, live a great life. So now I'm trying to figure out what's that next thing. Because I'm scared of it. I'm scared of failure. And also, I was that person. I'm the one with credit, with funds, and then people scare me. And so I need to build that team and that tribe, and I'm trying to figure out what's next. Trying to combine travel, wellness, and health, and just, helping people. And so I'm kind of just on the potter's wheel right now, going with stuff like this, meeting people. And so I just want to thank you guys for sharing your story. I see a little bit of myself in all of you, especially being a lawyer, stepping out. People probably like, you're a lawyer. Why would you want to go and do something else? You have a 9 to 5, you had a great job. And so it's like really refreshing to see that in a year or so, maybe you guys will see and be like, oh, I remember when she was just there, down here, and now she's up here. So thank you.
No problem. But the first thing I can tell you is you can't be scared. I got some rubber bands in the back too. I want everybody to grab one. And like I said, that rubber band will, at that time when you are scared, you can look down and say you got to believe in yourself. Because nobody's going to do it. If you're an ER doctor and someone is sick and hurt,
At the ER, I'm a beast, but when I'm real shy and reserved, and most people in the ER, I'm running things. I'm saving lives. And so when I'm in my regular life, I don't want to do all that because I'm always on the go, always doing this thing. It's ADHD, which is a good thing, but it can be a bad thing. So shutting my brain off. Because I have all these ideas, and a lot of ideas I give other people, and they act on it. I kind of just sit back now because I'm like, I'm not sure.
you just got to believe in yourself. You just got to have faith. Honestly, all I can tell you is just have faith in yourself. Continue to pray and ask God what it is, because like I said, we all have some type of genius level talent. And it sounds like you're a body smart person, so your field is going to be in some type of health field, doctor, maybe your own clinic or something like that. But you just got to really jump off that mountain of faith.
I would add that you're not wrong to be scared as well. I think it is scary. There are going to be some things that happen in this journey that a regular sane person that, you know, don't talk to themselves all day and do these mind tricks that we got to do to say, like, you're not wrong to be afraid. But also, like Mario said, like, if you don't believe in yourself more than anybody else on the planet, like, you're doing yourself a disservice. So you have to have that level of confidence, conviction, and that was a big reason of why I spent my first month being unemployed, really meditating and talking to God, because I'm like, whatever it is, I'm gonna do it. But I want to make sure that this is what you want me to do. It wasn't just about like, what do I want to do? What I'm good. I'm good at a lot of things. So it was very hard for me to just go and pick. Like, okay, do I do this? Do I do that? And so I really wanted to spend time talking to God, asking, what is it that you want me to do? And every idea or that I felt like was coming from Him, like running that back. Like, is this what you were saying? Is this what you wanted to look like? So I would just encourage you to spend some time in meditation and listen to what He's telling you.
I would add on, at a particular time when I was at another event, someone in the audience asked me, how do I get the confidence to do what I do? She said that she had been through all the schooling, the master's, MBA, all the things, and she just feels scared to get out there and do things. And how am I confident enough to sit up here and talk to people? And I was like, oh, that's a good question. And I was like, I don't know if it's necessarily confidence. I wouldn't call it confidence. I would call it courage. Because courage is doing it scared. That's what it takes. Just be courageous. It's okay to be fearful. You will be scared. And do it anyway. That's where the courage comes in. Confidence comes from doing. That comes later. You get confident from doing. So it's just a matter of doing it scared anyway. And sometimes being scared, the fear, that's the wall. That's your brain trying to protect you. That's okay, but that is your growth. That's where you know, if I'm scared, as soon as I feel like I'm scared, I'm like, oh, that's where I need to go. That's where the growth is. I need to do that because I'm scared, I'm afraid. I call it scared excited sometimes. So I'm scared and excited at the same time. But you have to do it. Or else you're going to sit there and you already know, because it's ruminating in your head over and over again because you haven't crossed that threshold. The door's there. You're not turning the knob and going through. And that's where it's going to keep coming up. And that's God speaking to you. You got to go through the door. You got to go through the door. You're not going to grow if you don't do it. And you're just going to wonder why every day. The other thing I would say, and something that I do often, is give myself the space, get away. And being in wellness, if you want to do retreats, just take your own medicine. Go away for whatever, a weekend. This past weekend, I went away with the family for the weekend. The weekend before that, I went away on a girls' trip. I plan trips with my husband 7+ days. I plan retreats for myself in the hotels. I stay, a couple of days by myself. Give myself a chance to get away from it all and think and be alone and meditate and pray about what are my next steps, and let that clarity eliminate all this other stuff so you can think clearly about what you need to do and feel confident in here inside that you're making the right move for you and not what someone else wants you to do.
If I could just add, creating a solid plan, because although my food truck was sitting for a whole year, it was part of my plan I'm not going to say not for it to be sitting there, but it was progressing as it was sitting there, right? It wasn't something that I just jumped head into because I didn't have all the ducks in a row. I didn't have all my ducks in a row. I didn't have all the information that I needed. So creating that solid plan and knowing that because you do have all that experience, you can always go back to the ER, right? So again, creating a plan, having a solid plan, and although things don't always go as planned, just having that plan there, and again, like they said, taking that leap of faith, and using that fear to fuel what you know you deserve, okay? And just manifesting it. I'm a big believer in manifestation, speaking things into existence and really working towards it.
Someone was pulling me here, it was raining, I'm like, oh no. So this was really good. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to do this, and I'm sure all of us here do. So thank you.
Any other questions? When it comes to law, do you specialize in a certain type of law? Like, do you do contract law?
Yeah, so I work with. So I would call myself. If you wanted to put me in a box, and I've been known to send messages. Don't put Tanisha in a box, but business. I'm a business attorney and intellectual property attorney. With that said, I really don't think of myself as an ordinary attorney because I incorporate coaching into my how I deliver my services. So although I believe in planning, yes, you should have a plan, putting a strategy together and working through that. At the same time, there's a method to the madness. And I let my clients lead that. And one of the first things that we do is create a vision plan. What is the vision that you have for your life, for your business, and what does the revenue look like? Because we're not in this, we're not a charity. So how does that all affect? And one of the things that I see a lot of business owners that they may have the business plan, but they haven't worked out the vision of what this looks like. Like I said before, my vision is the beach. If it ain't moved, how are we going to get closer to this beach? That's what I want to know. So I would say all the things, the tools that I use, the legal tools, the contracts, the trademarks, the copyrights. I educate my clients on patents and trade secrets. All those are tools that go into the strategy on how we're going to get to the revenue. Yeah. Yeah, it's a broader perspective in the sense that it's a more customized plan. The goal is always revenue. That's the ultimate goal. The goal is always we're leaning towards revenue because we're in business. But at the same time, we're building a life. And also the goal is to grow as business owners. I'm not going to do anything, I don't want to do anything different for you that I wouldn't do for myself. I'm always learning, I'm always growing, I'm always reading. And everything that I learn, I share with my clients. And I want you to grow as the CEO, as the business owner, and grow from, the point of being a solopreneur to a business owner that you could go away for a month and not worry about your business is still growing because you put in the work and the time and the education and know your numbers. They know their numbers. Know your numbers, and you can watch from afar. But at the same time, it's about understanding the strategy and getting other people on board on your vision. I had a consultation just the other day, and I've been known to give homework just in the discovery calls. Before we even get to work, I spot things, and you got homework, and let's see what happens when you come to the consult. Because at the same time, I'm testing to see, are you going to be the type of client I want to work with? And this gentleman came to the consultation. He said, before we even get started, I want to let you know I wrote out my vision statement. I did everything you said. I wrote out the vision statement. I shared it with my partner, and they're on board, and this is what the vision statement is. I said, that's my type of client. He did the homework, without doing, and he was taking notes on what I gave him more homework, and he was doing it. He's like, I'm writing it down, I'm doing it. So you have to do the work. I can provide the tools, the strategies, the tactics, all the things, but I can't want it more than you.
I want to thank you all
that can be multi-million dollar products. My first product I'm actually selling in 2 Myers locations. There's the Meyer downtown on Jefferson and the Meyer Royal Oak. It's called Woodward Corner Market. So the barrier that I'm having is, one, I do know that sometimes it's who you know and not what you know. And sometimes it's a combination of both, so I get that. But for me, I am in need of like buyer contacts, procurement contacts, and I would love to know how you got in front of Dan Gilbert, because one of my goals is to get it's a custom luxury liquid hand soap, by the way. That's what I'm selling in Meyer. But I would like to get it into the newly built Marriott LV downtown, also in Dan Gilbert's hospitality properties, like his properties, and also in big box retail stores nationwide, like Target. So, just wondering if anyone can help, or a guy can.
I got like 5, because you kept talking, and I was like, I got a thing, and then you said something, I was like, I got a thing, and this is something. So I got like 15 things I want to say, but I'm not gonna say them all. But I'll just say one: I am interested in your hand soap for our bathroom. So that's number 1. Pure Michigan Business Connect. Pure Michigan Business Connect. Pure Michigan Business Connect. I don't know if Tanya's still there, but Pure Michigan
She said that like 4 times.
Connect.
I hope you're writing this down.
Everybody write it down.
And then just and this is just a general rule of thumb, pretty much any company, organization, hospital system, whatever, they have some sort of supplier diversity, something on their website, where if you go into the little small print in the footer, you can go register, and then once you register and put in all your information, then you will get alerts about different opportunities. You'll also get emails. A lot of the organizations do like supplier connection, networking meetings and stuff like that, where you meet the buyers of a lot of the systems. I think my first year of entrepreneurship, I went to so many of those. So I can talk to you about like preparing for those and how to activate on those as well. You have a product, so you're ready, and you have something to sell, and you can activate that. So I think that would be a good thing for you to do. Those were the ones that I just wanted to quickly tell you. But we range me. Okay, I was going to say, because you said Target, and I was like, I think Target and Meyer are Range Me things as well. But yes, Pure Michigan Business Connect.
I think one of the things that first come to my mind is I look at your competitors, and that's one of the foundations that I look at with my clients, your competitors. I have no problem stalking, online stalking, and telling my clients to stalk competitors. And I say that in the sense that look at who are they posting about? Where are their products? Who are they hanging out with? So, because those people can be your friends too. And that's sometimes the easiest way to get in. And sometimes your competitors can be your friends. I really don't think there's any competition because everybody is unique. But that would be something that the first thing that came to my mind is, what are your competitors doing? Who are they hanging out with? Where are they posting? Where are their products and services? Because they're bragging about it online. And you can get in there and figure out how to get in too.
Because my competitors are Dial and Soft Soap. I've never seen their face. Like, I don't know who they are, and my product is literally next to theirs on the shelf. So, and it's a lot of gatekeeping also. So I try to use LinkedIn, I try to network. It's like, oh, good luck, and you just figure it out on your own. So it's been a little difficult, but I still persevere and continue to fight,
Congratulations. I really think that is amazing. That would be like a marketing plug I would be doing. Like, I'm right next to Dial and Soft Soap, and this is where you can find right next to. That right there. And why don't you have me on your shelves, whichever company or big box that you're looking for? I'm right next to Dial and Soft. Why ain't I'm here at your store and I don't see me next to your? I would call that out.
Do you have some soap with you today? It's in the car, right?
Always have your product.
It's in the car,
Always.
right? And it's in the trunk.
I don't.
Oh, man.
I have
come
like
on.
my demonstration set up like in my trunk, but
The first thing, like she said, with your competitors, competition. I used to always be a person like, oh, I'm my own competition. Until I got to the level of staffing 50, 60, 100 people and being very consistent with it. At one point in time, we were like 92% with our clients, meaning that if they said they want 100 people, we were getting at least 97 people. And then my competition actually sent someone to work for me. So, you have to really, like she said, know what your competition is doing. From that point on, I was like, okay, I got to learn what they're doing, where they're hanging out, what they eat, what their wife and husband likes. So I don't look at it like I don't have competition. So any staffing agency in the city of Detroit, if it's Kelly Services, if it's Forge, if it's Minuteman, that is my competition. And I try to find out what they're doing and what's the niche that I have different from them. What am I doing? What am I doing different from them? Now, as far as with the Dan Gilbert story, it was just more so, like I said, with the isms. So all of my employees wear shirts that have some different ism on the back of it. And we clean Shinola, the watch company, the headquarters. So his cousin works there. His name is Steve Kassman. And on the back of our shirts at Shinola, it said, "You will believe it when you see it." So he seen that, he asked, he wanted to talk to me. He was like, "So where did you get that saying from?" And I started telling him about the isms and how they affected my life and different things. And he was just laughing like, "That's crazy because nobody ever talks about the isms like that." And he was like, "Can you make a video?" I was like, "Why?" He said, "I'm going to send it to my cousin." I'm like, "Who's your cousin?" He was like, "Dan Gilbert." I said, "Well, something where I'm from, your cousin is like, this is my cousin. I've known her for about an hour. So this is my cousin." But he's like, "No, this is, our mothers are sisters." So he said, "I'm going to send him the video." So I did the video for him, and he said he sent it over. I still was like, "Yeah, okay. All right." So Dan Gilbert was doing a podcast. Was doing a panel downtown, and I signed up. And I went and had a shirt made. On the back of it, it said, "Numbers and money follow, they don't lead." And when I wore it in there, everybody was just laughing, like, "Oh, look at this shirt," taking pictures of me and everything. And when he was, as soon as he came off the stage, I V-line right there, and he's like, "Oh, you're the cleaning guy." And that just like knocked me out, like seriously, like blew me away that he was like, "Yeah, you're doing great things, and let's sit down and have a conversation." And then that's when the book came out, and I gave him a book. So, each chapter has a different ism that affected my life at that particular time. So, just helping him with the isms and everything. I think that's how it aligned us.
Something that I'm doing because I'm a consultant and a business owner. I'm not only always thinking about my business, but I'm thinking about everybody else's. So I can't go nowhere without doing something business related. So I was in Puerto Rico trying to mind my good business. I was at a board retreat, and they had their key cards that they used were beautiful. They were like wooden and etched and just like gorgeous. And I'm thinking about, because we're a membership-based organization here in iHouse, I was like, "Ooh, this would be really cute. Like if they was black, and then we could get the." So I was like, I wonder who they used to get the. So when I left, because I didn't have time before I checked out, I called. I said, "Hey, I just was there, and I really love y'all key cards. Can you connect me to somebody who like does purchasing for your whatever?" Yeah, got the information, found out who, like literally if you call a hotel, you can do that. Like you can call and say, "Hey, can I speak to your purchasing department, accounting department, or whatever the case," and talk to them about like, well, how can I, do business? Like you don't have to necessarily wait until you log into Pure Michigan Business Connect and see when they do a supplier diversity networking thing again. Like you can literally, if you know the organizations that you want to work with, literally call them. I started so many things during the pandemic, and literally everybody was at home. I was in everybody's inboxes on LinkedIn. "Hey, can you come to my nonprofit's virtual meeting and talk about what you do? I ain't never met this person. They all the way in D.C. Don't know me from a can of paint." Sure, doing it. Like literally so many things, just reaching out to people. So I would say don't underestimate the value of, especially if you call somebody, because people don't do that no more, or go visit somebody in person. That alone will speak volumes. So it seems like it's like a lot of red tape, but sometimes it's literally just you can call and talk to somebody.
Because I did send a box to downtown Chicago Hyatt, and so they were like the CEO of Hyatt down in Chicago. They were testing it out for like 2 cents. Then they shipped something
So you're saying it's like a high-end soap, right? So why don't you take advantage of the niches that are around you? That's another ism. You have Shinola Hotel down here. You have the Godfrey. What's the other one that just opened? Cambria. So these are hotels that want to be 5-star or want to be, 4+ stars. I will bug them. I will go there, like she said, and contact the human resource. That's really one of the persons or the purchasing department. Give them 100 bars or something like that. Go down to Bedrock and ask for the procurement guy and give them some soap. And then take them some more soap next week to the point to where they don't have a choice. Really, it's not bugging them. And then, you got to put the ego to the side. And just because you have a product that we need, we all have to wash our hands. That was one of the biggest things, germs. So everybody, that's a product that the whole world needs. And then maybe donate some to some small place or some schools. Go to the school. So now you have that resume. But like she said, the biggest thing is my soap is right next. I would do so much content with these gentlemen and his wife at these different stores showing that my soap is between Dove and Dial. And so we're on that same shelf because I think most companies, when you get into those Meijer stores and you have a product, your stuff starts at the bottom. So I'm not sure. I've heard that, but for yours to be between them two soaps, that means something. So you got to use that to your advantage.
What's the name of your soap?
Yeah, I call that bloom where you're planted. Bloom where you're planted. You have a community right here, and like I said, and market and get yourself so ingrained in your community that they cannot ignore you outside the community.
I also have two businesses. One, I'm a mental health therapist, have a private practice where I provide mental health services. And then the second one is I have a travel agent business as well because I love travel. I'm everything about the beaches especially. And shameless plug, y'all keep talking about wellness retreats. I'm hosting a wellness retreat in Costa Rica in June. You guys want to come. The title of it is called Rest and it's based on that right there.
And I'm gonna be there.
But that's a shameless plug. But my question is, I have these two businesses, and of course, like 3 more in my mind. But I was talking to a business coach a couple weeks ago, and she kind of dampened my spirit a little bit when she was like, "You need to focus on one." And she was like, because having multiple is not going to push you far because you're not able to put full energy into one and get that where you need it to be. So I just wanted to know what was your perspective on that, and how did you feel about that, or if you had, even worked with a business coach, what was your experience as well?
I'm itching. I want y'all to help me because I got a memory. So one example I'm going to tell you is about I went to Undemo Day by accident. I went to Undemo Day, so I want to tell you about that. And I already forgot the other one. Oh, and the other one is about a client. So I'll start with the client one. I had a client who's the leader of a very large nonprofit, and we would have our 7 a.m. breakdown calls together, and I'm talking to her and trying to talk her off her ledge, and she was always feeling unsupported by her board and wondering why they couldn't help her or why they wouldn't help her. She was trying to do some pretty major things. And I had to ask her, I said, okay, I'm trying not to say her name so I can keep some anonymity, but I said, you're seeking boss level advice from employees. Everybody on your board is an employee at their organization. They're not even the executive director, CEO. They ain't got no side hustle. No bit. You can't take advice or advisement from everybody because everybody doesn't have the calling, right? So that's the first thing I would say is, I don't know much about the coach, but just keeping in mind that every coach does not have the assignment that you have, and they can only speak from their level of understanding. And so showing them grace, not in a condescending way. It's like, okay, you probably have been taught that, and that's what has worked for you, or you've seen work, and that's what you're trying to impart onto me. But just understand that for what it is. The other example, I was at a Undemo Day, and I went, and I got all my businesses and all the things. I had my little executive one pager that had like the QR codes where you could scan. I just had the high level, this is what this business does, and I have this many trillions under assets under management with the client base that I have, and all of that, and was in there coaching the investors. Like, okay, you trying to do what today? Like, what's your goal? Okay, you need to be asking this question. You need to be doing that. So I was very much so in my zone. And there was a particular person that I was really excited about meeting, because this is somebody that I had watched and admired and all of the things. And so I was getting ready to leave, and this person came. I was like, oh my goodness, they here. Also trying not to say their name. Help me. And so they got there, and I was like, hi. They were talking, so I just kind of like stood there waiting for them to finish talking a little bit, and then got acknowledged and introduced myself and started talking about what I do. And the person told me, and this is my first time, and I was so excited meeting this person. They said, I told them what I was doing and what I was looking to do and all of that, and they said, well, you really need to focus. You really need to pick one thing. And I said, well, and understanding that I'm a consultant and I, can coach and do all the things and know why she's saying that. I said, well, no, this is a little different because, I have a team, and this other thing that I'm building, I already have someone that wants to buy it, and da-da-da-da. And she's like, well, you need more than one customer. Like, that's not enough. And so at that moment, I ended the conversation gracefully, not like in a way, but I just like a light bulb went off, and I was like, this person is an employee. She thinks when I say buy that I'm talking about somebody want to buy a bag of chips from me. I'm literally talking about a person that is the president of $1 trillion, one of the largest Fortune whatever companies in the world, that wants to acquire something that I have an idea about. Like, I don't even have an MVP for it. I just talked about the idea. And this person said, build that thing up. This is the stuff that my company buys, and we just pay millions and millions and millions of dollars for this type of stuff from other, like, do that, go do that. And so in that moment I was like, oh, she can't speak the same languages. Like, she can't help me because she's an employee. She's never, even though she has this seat, she's never started nothing. She's never, so, and I'm already saying she, so please don't try to put the pieces together and figure out who I'm talking about, because bless all the people and bless that lady and all that, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but you just have to understand that not everyone can be your coach, not everyone can be your consultant, not everyone can lead you or guide you, because they can only speak to what they know, right? And what they've seen and what they can envision, and your vision is your vision. So how many hats I wear. And I probably get that a lot. But you just have to understand and trust that if God put it in you, that he gave you what you need in order to do it.
And lastly, I'm just going to add, if you can reap the benefits of both and they both make you happy, there's no picking or choosing, right? If you can do it both gracefully, then again, don't let anyone dim your light.
Something I want to add, because I do have two businesses, that's two successful businesses. Find someone that believes in you. Get you a team around you. Because what I ended up doing is, this year is cleaning, next year is staffing, but I have a team that can run both of them at, simultaneously. So if you can find someone that believes in your dream and that wants to help you, regardless if you guys are making $100 or $100 million, they're still behind you 100%. Don't just pigeonhole yourself to one business, and don't, like she said, don't allow someone else anxieties to weigh on you.
I agree with everything that was said, and I also believe that when I get up in the morning, I set my intentions. And that's where my attention will go. And wherever your attention goes, that's what will grow. So in a sense, I never want to dim anyone's light. If you can do it both and you're happy about it, then do you, boo. So you do that. But at the same time, it always goes back to that vision of what you had. So for me, my vision was to build up a company that will run itself, and me and my husband can go off and do whatever we want. We did that. So I stopped practicing law to build up that company. So I put all my attention into that and wanted to build a multi-million-dollar business. And that's what the focus was, because I had a vision. Now I'm doing something else. But if you're happy doing that, you do that. And again, you surround yourself with the people that will support the vision. Support the vision. If they don't support the vision, they got to go. Because your vision is your vision. No one else can run your race. And if they're not on board, they're out. So I would say, depending on what your vision is and what your goals are, just pay attention to what you're paying attention to. And sometimes you do have to put, oh, that's a great idea. I'm going to write this down, put it on the shelf, and come back to it.
I think intention and alignment. So I said all that, and I've also been sitting across from entrepreneurs who like, yeah, I fried chicken, but I also do nails, but I also am a CNA, but I also rap on the side, and I'm a painter. And I'll be like, okay, so where is the intention at? Where is the alignment? So I think for me, everything that I do, all the different verticals, they're aligned, and they all play into each other, and they support one another. So there's intentionality and alignment and purpose for all of them. They're part of my puzzle, right? How many of y'all know Tabitha Brown? That's like going up to Tabitha and saying, well, you can only have Donna's recipe, or you can only have food in Target, or you can only have houseware in Target, or you can only be an actress, or you can, but she does all those things, and nobody feels like she's, pimping herself out, because they're all in alignment. They all represent her. They all reflect her. They all make sense. And so as you're thinking about what you want to do, ask yourself, does this make sense? Am I pretending to be something or forcing something on myself that I'm not or don't desire to be just to make a quick buck? Or is this something that I'm just really passionate about? Because that's going to matter when you're doing that thing at 3 a.m, because you can't stop, or you want to, keep going. So that's all I would say. Yes.
So piggybacking off what she said, I have a similar dilemma. There are a few things that I'm skilled at, and I may spend hours researching, studying, learning tutorials, and then act on it. And what you said, which was, are they in alignment with each other? They are. They're different, but they do kind of assist in each thing that I'm interested in doing. But my, I guess, conundrum or a dilemma was, do I need to create a business name for each one? Do I have to create eventually an entity for each one? Do I need a separate website for each one? Or can they all be encompassed into one, because it's just me right now? I might get a 1099 here and there to do some contract work, but ultimately, it's just small.
Okay, 2 words, alignment and bizwiz. So alignment, when I talk about alignment, I'm talking about not just do they make sense when you look at them on a piece of paper and can you connect them, but I'm talking about just like personal alignment. Do they align to your skill, your passion, and all of that? So I'm just adding that to what you're saying. I'm not taking away from what you're saying. How many of y'all in here have used BizWiz before? Okay. Are you one of the TA providers on BizWiz? Are you one of the TA?
I think I am.
Okay. I am a TA provider on BizWiz, as well as some of the other folks up here. Please use that resource. You can have strategy sessions. You can have like a lot of the technical assistance that you all are referencing and some of the questions that you're asking. That's what BizWiz is for, and it's free. If y'all come to me asking me to help you, I'm gonna charge you $300 an hour. You can go to BizWiz and get that for free. So use that thing. I use BizWiz, okay? So definitely use BizWiz, but I want to double down on something that you said, because a lot of people say, oh, well, I only need, one EIN and I can get this business in there and then do my nonprofit and then and it's like, no. Not only is it a no for like compliance legal reasons, but also liability. Depending on what